Hello, everybody, and welcome to Angel Meadows. We're a little bit, we had a few technical glitches, as most people know. That's how it runs in this place. Angel Meadows always has little technical glitches. Okay, anything I touch has technical glitches, so we're going to be okay. And of course, I'm not totally prepared for this, but anyway, that's life, right? Well, my guest today is Coryelle Kramer, and I found my name. Okay, Coryelle, you've been doing this, for over 2 decades, which I don't think you look old enough to be doing this for over, 1 decade maybe, but not 2. You are an animal communicator, healer, and you work with your clairvoyant and you have angel connections. And you do some really awesome Facebook Lives, the Animal Experience.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just a little taste for everybody, but now it's time for you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, everybody. And I'm sorry for all the craziness. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for asking me to be on your show. A little bit about me. The thing that you said before is correct. I tell people I've been doing what I do professionally for over 2 decades, but unprofessionally I've been doing what I've been doing since I was a kid. So I've always been able to talk to animals. I've always been able to see spirits. I always got a sense for what was going to happen before it happened, and I had a very, very supportive mother who encouraged me, so I was able to keep doing it for quite a long time, and now I'm doing it professionally. I love what I do. I'm also a angelic healer, which means I work with my angel guides to send out really kick-ass, powerful healing to both people and animals. I love working with animals, especially with the healing, because they want so much to feel better as quickly as possible. So the results that happen when I work with the animals is just incredible. Animal communication has brought nothing but joy to my life and wisdom to my life, and that wisdom I'm sharing once a week on a Facebook Live show called The Animal Experience. It's also now a podcast, as well as it being up on YouTube. So it's been the Animal Experience has gotten nothing but really great reviews, and then I was approached by a internet radio show to put it also on the radio. So this is only after 12 episodes. It's pretty incredible.
Okay, what radio show?
It's not yet. That we're still working out the specifics. So as soon as that goes up, then we're going
If it doesn't work out, let me know, and I have connections in some places on the radio stations that we can make it work. Because cool. I think you are so worth hearing. And you can't see, but I put up your photo with it's a little bit foggy, but the metaphysical communication for people and animals with your picture and that gorgeous necklace. And your phone number's on it as well, so that'll go. That will also be recorded in the archives with it. So if anybody ever wants to connect with you, you can go to www.Coryelle Kramer Kramer.com, all lowercase, no spaces. So that got the business part out of the way.
That's an important part.
There you go. Now, you said you've been doing this since you were a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But okay. About when was the first time that you it's a question I seem to ask a lot. Yeah, I did it without breathing. When was the first time you did that, connected with spirit, either animal and or human, that you remembered, that you realized exactly what you were doing? Because, we all have our in our younger days where we connect and talk to spirits, and we don't realize what we're really doing. So when was it that you kind of went, aha?
That's a great question. I never really thought of that before. One of my earliest memories was when I was probably in the single digits, year-wise or, life-wise. And I remember being out in the woods. My mom was always, she was always renting houses in different places in the country. So I would have that dynamic of being both a city kid and also a country kid. So I remember being out in the woods and just being able to see all these things. I saw fairies, I saw sprites, I saw pixies. I saw the animals, I saw a deer, and I just remember feeling like that was all connected. That was all really, really important, and it was a magical thing that I was going to be able to see. I was able to see everything. I remember, knowing that I remember looking at this and saying, this is it. This is what's important. It's all this stuff that's magical. It's nature, it's animals, it's the ethereal, it's the it's the metaphysical. I remember even, I think I was maybe 7 or 8 when I remember that. And doing an animal communication, I remember always talking to the animals when I was really small. And I remember that I would always come across these animals that people would say, oh, that's a vicious cat, that's a bad dog, and they don't want, don't go near them. And I would, they would turn around and I would be, going over to the cat and to the dog, of course, and just talking to them and just, seeing what the problem was. And, I was always able to get animals in my life or have animals around where, they were problem animals, but, they would see me and they would be friendly and they would be on their back and giving me their belly, and people would be like, I don't understand it. That's a vicious dog. And be like, he just wants to be understood, even when I was a little itty bitty, I understood that. So there was a lot of incidences, but I remember that, especially in the woods, I remember that that was almost that was a big aha moment for me.
Okay, sorry. Cat moment. I was looking at something else. Okay. Now you said your mom was very supportive, and I think that's totally awesome that when people have parents who are supportive of who they are. So tell me a little bit about your mom.
My mom was a woman who was really and truly way ahead of her time. She was very independent. She was very much a free spirit. She was somebody who was very open to different things, especially different people. My mom was she had, I remember her having parties and there was always different people there. There would be, Black, there would be white, there would be Chinese, there would be, other Asians, there would be Puerto Rican, she just loved all different kinds of people. She taught me very early on to look inside a person's heart as opposed to look inside what they're saying and what they're doing and politics and all this other kind of stuff. That's not important. What's important is what's inside a person's heart. She was also very artistic. She was a poet. She was an actress. So she was constantly trying to enlighten herself, and she was constantly trying to expand. And at the other hand, my mom was the person who loved the $5, what I call the $5 word. And the $5 word was like, as somebody would say, oh, look at that caterpillar coming out of the cocoon. And my mom would say, oh, look at that caterpillar. He's emerging from his chrysalis. And it'd be like, okay, there goes the $5 word. She loved to laugh. She loved to have good times. She loved to have travel. She loved people. So I think there's a big part of me, of her in me.
For sure.
Yeah.
At least I hope that all of my kids have at least a little bit of part of me in them. So I don't see why. Yeah, I think your mom is a major part of you. And if I remember correctly, the picture that you have an amazing necklace. I think you did once tell me that it's your mom's necklace?
It was. I love that piece. It's one of my favorite pieces. It's all just different kinds of bronze that's been welded together, but it looks very Japanese or it looks very Asian.
Did she make it?
No, she didn't. She found it somewhere. She was always finding interesting jewelry pieces, and I think that's one of the things that we have in common. I love the unusual. I love the unusual in like clothes and jewelry. If it's something that's not typical and, unusual, I'm going to be going for it. So I think I kind of inherited that from her.
That's why you're on my show, because we're special. I'm special over here. As my friends in the UK say, I lick windows and I ride the short bus. Not that I know the short bus has anything to do with it, but But okay. Now you've done over the 2 decades, which I still have a hard time because just you're way too pretty and young looking to be doing this for 2 decades. But hey, c'est la vie, right?
Right.
Yeah, we know Scott has. You can't see the chat room, so if there's anything interesting, I will let you know what the chat room says. And Scott says he has a certificate that says he's special. We're gonna put quotation marks around that one.
Nice.
For the amount of time that you've been doing this, is there one connection with animal and one with human, or who's crossed over, that sort of stands out in your mind?
Well, I would say the human that crossed over that stands out in my mind always is my mother. She passed away in 2008. And even though I don't see her as often, I feel her a lot. And I know that she was 100% behind me moving to New Mexico like I did, because I moved here without, I moved here without knowing anyone. Oh, well, I knew one person, and never having been here before, I just followed my heart and my intuition and led me exactly where I needed to go. And I know she was behind that 100%. And the other animal that isn't the animal that's in spirit, there's several of them. I've had animals all my life since I was a kid, but I would say the 3 that really resonate and really I see a lot are my heart cat PC, which is short for perfect cat, who transitioned in 2007, and then I would say my first dog Veronica, and then I would say my cat Cleopatra, who was a cat I had from the time that I believe I was 1 or 2, and she transitioned when I was around or about in my early 20s. So
wow.
she was amazing. She was amazing. She looked good till the day she died. She looked good. And but those are 3 that really ring true with me.
What you can't see is, and what some people don't know, is that in my chat room we have some very gifted people, and Patrick and Scott both said that you missed your mom very much, and they both send you hugs.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do miss her.
Patrick's a newbie, so don't be shy, Patrick. Speak up. Have questions. And if anybody has any questions, please try that one again. Type them in the chat room. I will ask, and if I think it's rude and disrespectful, I'll smack you, and then I'll ask a question. Okay, that would only be Eric. Brian, sorry, Eric's gone, so it's safe. But okay, you live in New Mexico. That was a move that you made. Where were you originally from? I know you said your mom moved you guys around a lot because it was, housing. But where are you originally from?
Originally, I'm born and raised in New York City, specifically Manhattan, and I also grew up a lot in the different counties in upstate New York, so like Dutchess County, Schoharie County, Columbia County, things like that there. And that's where my mom would have those. She would rent the houses for the summertime. And then we finally had our own house which I sold, and before I moved here in upstate New York, it was about an hour outside of Albany, New York.
So the transition from New York. Now New York is close to my border. I'm from Quebec, and I've been to New York once in my life. Um, the difference between New York and New Mexico. Okay, aside from weather and placements and everything else, what is spirit-wise? Do you find that you have a closer connection being in New Mexico?
Absolutely. And this is just for me. I mean, I think you have a closer spiritual connection no matter where you are, as long as the place that you are at is, your place in the sun, a place that touches your heart. I think that's where the magic happens. For me, it was New Mexico, upstate New York, although beautiful, absolutely stunning, except in the wintertime when there's snow, which I can't stand, was just energetically wasn't the place for me anymore. It felt like I was literally getting pushed out, like energetically just pushed out. I put my house up for sale. It sold 2 months later, and I was in New Mexico by August 2015, and the house was put up for sale in May. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When you are in a place that you're supposed to be at, the universe just moves heaven and earth for you. And energetically, New Mexico is very, very high vibration. It is a very high vibrational place. And I love it. It's got a lot of crystals under the ground. It's got like obsidian. It's got quartz. It's got all different kinds of crystals all over the place that you just find on the ground. So it's basically a place where, it's lovely, but it really makes you hone your work. And what I mean by that is that because it's so energetically high vibrational, if you aren't doing everything you can to raise your vibration up, New Mexico can really kick your booty. It really can.
Scott says New Mexico seems to be the place of weird and exciting things happening. Example, Roswell, and a lot of other UFO sightings. So that sort of leads me to the question, have you ever seen a UFO or something that not alien related, but could be alien related?
Well, I have, but not with my physical eyes. So let me explain. I do a lot of, one of the readings that I do is I do a star child lineage. And that's when I open myself up to your star children, your star lineage, your people, and I download all the information from what they eat to what they look like to what they wear to how they live and the music they listen to, what's their purpose in life. I download all this civilization information. So I physically, with my eyes, I don't recall ever seeing a actual UFO, but what I've seen when I connect, not only for other people but for my own star child lineage, is enough to blow my mind enough. So I mean, if I saw a UFO, I probably would be like, oh, well, okay. I kind of thought it would be.
No, I'm not taking that taxi this time. Go off. Nell in the chat room. Sorry?
No, I probably would say something like, well, I kind of thought it would be bigger, but, because I see so much stuff with my third eye, it's incredible.
Nell in the chat has questions, and I think you kind of sort of answered it with this one, but I'll say it anyway, are you a star child? And if so, when were you woken up?
That's a great question. Yes, I'm a star seed, or a star child, and I was woken up, dates are hard for me, so just give me 1 second, 2000. I was woken up in 2011. And it was actually after I connected to my then twin flame, and I discovered that he was a star child. And when I connected to him and downloaded his information, I started getting information on myself, which I really was not looking for at all. I wasn't doing any kind of any kind of readings like that. I believed in aliens, absolutely, I still do. I call them otherworlders, but I just thought it was just way too much. I thought, to me, I was just happy, doing psychic and mediumship readings. I didn't need to go really into the woo-woo, and, but every single thing that I used to say I don't do. I don't do fairies. I don't do unicorns. I don't do aliens. I don't do all this kind of stuff. I just don't do it. Well, now, every single thing I got scruffed. So now I do it. I tell people I'll talk to anybody. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever. I'll talk to anybody.
Okay. Now, you've got me curious about the Star Child lineage readings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so somebody calls you up and says, okay, because I have a show and I know some things, but I don't know everything. So I'm going to, and Star Child lineage readings is the first time I've ever heard of this. Mm-hmm. So explain a little bit more to me about that. Like, if I come to you and I go, I want the Star Child lineage reading done, what would it entail?
Well, essentially what a Star Child lineage reading is, and that's my own kind of concept, is I just connect to your energy. It's kind of like a psychic energy. It's kind of like a psychic reading on steroids. And what I do is that I connect to your energy. I get quiet for a second. I connect to your energy. I tap in and find out if you are a Star Child, because not everybody is a Star Child.
Okay.
I tap in and I find out if you're a Star Child, but usually if you are drawn to the Star Child lineage readings, there is a very, very good chance you are. Mm-hmm. So I connect to your energy, and then I start opening myself up to what I call the universe. So I'm a seer, so that's why I call myself a seer, because I open myself up to the universe and I start just downloading this massive amount of information for you, from the name of your planet to the name of your people to what they look like and what kind of people are they. Are they warriors, or are they more intellectual, or whatever, how they look, what they eat, what do the buildings look like, what's the landscape of the different the planet look like, and everything from the smallest of details. So a Star Child lineage reading usually takes anywhere between an hour to 2 hours, because you need that time. It's not something, I don't do a Star Child lineage reading for 30 minutes or less. It's got to be an hour or more.
Okay. So Brian says he's been here before the Star Children, and Scott just called him a Star Granddad. Yeah, no comment. Nell asked, can you see if she's a Star Child from here, like the distance?
If I can see
Can
who?
you just sort of, Nell, one of the guests in the chat room, her name is Kathy. Her question was, can she see if I'm a Star Child from here? So when somebody...
of course, because primarily all of my readings are either done over the phone or through Skype or video conferencing. So I have clients all over the world. So yes, I can tap in and find out if she's a Star Child, which I would say yes, but I'm not going to get all the information down, because once I open myself up to it, I can't stop.
Yeah. So now if you want, you can connect with her. I put the website here.
Just so that people know, when I do any kind of reading, no matter what, because I'm downloading so much information, not only for the Star Child lineage, but for an animal communication, or for a psychic or a seer or medium session, I always record everything, and you get a copy of the recording, because you're not going to be able to hear everything. You need to be able to hear this, and it's going to be unfolding over the next couple of days, weeks, years, and even months. So, that's why I record all my readings.
That kind of makes sense, because I know that when I've been to when I've been to a psychic and they've done reading for me, I've been to a psychic, but I've had a psychic reading done on air or on phone or whatever, I have to take notes because I'm listening, but I'm not listening. I
Right.
hear it, and I get all the little notes and whatnot that I'm sure I'm missing things. So that's why I like it best when it's on a show, because then I can go back and rehear it. So yeah.
Right. Well, what I tell people is this: if you're taking notes during a psychic reading of any kind, you're not listening to what is being said. And a lot of the times, I want people's full attention on me. I don't want somebody having to worry about, my God, I got to write this whole thing down exactly how she's saying it, and you're trying to process all this kind of stuff. I want you completely and totally open. So that's why I record everything. And also this way, it's like a lot of the times I've written stuff down when I've gotten a psychic reading, and I go back to it an hour later. I can't understand what the heck I wrote down.
I know.
It's awful.
It's the quickest chicken scratch you ever did see.
Right.
Valerie in the chat room says, how do you turn off from hearing things? Brian says bubble.
You can. It's whatever works for you. I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's the beauty of the metaphysical, is that it's different strokes for different folks, and whatever works for you is the powerful way for you. Something that's going to work for me is not going to work for you. But what I do is that I kind of, I never really thought, well, I did. I haven't thought about it in a while. Because I'm downloading everything, what I do is I'm downloading through 3 chakras. I'm downloading through my heart chakra, my third eye, and then the crown chakra. So what I do is when I want to kind of like stay open, but I want to stay kind of like muffled or buffed, but a little bit of muffled, so stuff is more trickling through than it is pouring through. I will envision my chakras as doors, and to the degree that they're open is the degree of what my the stuff I'm getting from the universe is. So right now, my doors are kind of like a quarter of the way, open. So they're just slightly open. I've got only slightly open doors.
That's okay, as long as they're a little cracked. Oops. Patrick in the chat room asked, when did Coryelle first realize that she was different? We started in the beginning. You were a little bit late, but it's okay. I still love you. You remember she realized it as a child. She's been doing this since she was a child. And you said, I can't remember the exact number because you didn't say, but you do remember you saying in the single digits, the age when you realized that this was something special. Right. It wasn't just, like everybody else talks to their imaginary friends and then they're told to, grow up and stop doing it. It's just your imagination. You were lucky enough to have a mom who said, yes, continue.
Right. Just keep on going. She would ask me questions. What's the cat thinking? What does the dog say? What does that dog say? What does that cat say? What does the bird say? What does a hamster say? I had all these animals, so I had a menagerie. So, yes, I had that. And then there was a lot of support. So she was very, very supportive of this whole thing. She wasn't frightened of it. And the animal communication, but also the psychic work as well.
Okay. Scott in the chat room says, I'm reading exact words here. But when did she realize she was different to everyone else and no one else could do what you do?
I think I started to... It's a good question. I think I started to realize that I was different, or let's just say instead of different, let's just say I think I realized when I was unique, really unique. When I was in my early teens, so probably around or about 13, 14. Whereas before that, it was just, I had a lot of friends who were my friends since I was a little kid. So they knew what I was doing. It was just old hack for them. But when I went to, I think it was junior high school, that's when everything really started tanking. Or became more interesting. Let's call it interesting.
Did you used to do readings for the kids at school?
No, the kids. I wouldn't. I went to school in the public schools of New York City, so
Ooh.
we're not talking. We're not talking kids who were, interested in that. They would. They were looking for anything that would make you feel like you were doing something wrong, or you were a mistake, or you were a freak. So I really started closing up my ability to do it. And what happened is that when I hit that age, I became more and more empathic. So I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. I didn't know about the doors. I didn't know. There was nobody to ask these questions of how do you shield? How do you turn off your empathic abilities? My mother was supportive, but she didn't know, and it was like being what do I call it being 7-Eleven, which is like, it's kind of being a convenience store, which is you're open 24/7. You're open all the time, and it became extremely painful. I'm open up to people's pain, animals' pain, the planet's pain. So it was very overwhelming. So by the time I got into my mid teens, I had to totally and completely find ways of turning it off, and I did. It wasn't healthy, but it worked for a while, and that was, and I'm open about it. It was drugs and alcohol. It was the only way that I could find to numb the pain that I was feeling. Eventually, of course, it turned around. It worked for a while, but then it turned around and bit me in the butt. Like it always does when you abuse it. So,
yeah.
And then that started another journey, which I'm extremely grateful about. But that was a journey into, that was the journey into AA and NA, and I'm very grateful for that time because it gave me the foundation of finding my spirituality again. So I hope that answers your question. I know that was long. Sorry about that.
As Patrick says, most empaths learn to hide how they're feeling and what the effects that they have. And Scott said, yes, it did. Thank you. Nell in the chat room has asked, how do you feel about seeing another star child's skull? There.
Another star child. What?
Skull. I'm guessing she's talking about the skulls that that people are finding, but have found, and they say it's the star children's skulls, I guess.
Oh, I actually don't know anything about that, but I think I am a big proponent of things are happening for a reason, and we're now in what is called a shift of consciousness. And the animals taught me and told me about this before it started happening, probably about 16, 17 years ago. But the shift of consciousness, what's happening is there is a lot of stuff that is being revealed. And it has to be revealed in order for our vibrations to raise up. And that's what this is all about. That's what the shift is all about. We are evolving to the next level. And those who cannot evolve die, and those who are ready to and willing and able to evolve and to raise up your vibration, then you're riding the wave. Otherwise, you're getting sand in your bathing suit because you're in the bottom of the wave. So it's very interesting. I think to answer your question, I think if the star child skulls are showing themselves, they're showing themselves for a reason, no matter who's finding.
Yeah, it makes sense. If we're becoming more open as majority of the society is to realizing that we are not the one and only. So the signs that might be necessary for us to find are the skulls and because then that's actual tangible evidence. Because as much as we believe, that you can do a star child lineage and people can, do past lives readings and different things. There's no tangible proof in 90% of the times. Just to find the skull that's tangible, somebody can say, "Oh, like some people say, unless I can put my hands on it, feel it, touch it, see it, smell it, I don't believe it." So this is ta-da, proof.
Right.
So
And then you also have the people. I mean, you have people who are looking and going to museums and looking at dinosaur bones, but they still don't believe that the dinosaurs ever existed. And that's okay. That's their look. If that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not going to tell somebody that they're wrong. I'm just going to say, I believe in the dinosaurs, and it makes me happy to think of the dinosaurs just like it makes me happy to think of the Star People. So whatever makes me happy is going to make me happy, and I'm going to use it.
And the heck if people don't like that.
That's right.
Okay.
Great question.
Now, you do know that it has to come right. You do know what what is to come then. Yes? Because you've been communicated from the animals and from everybody else, things that are to come, that you have premonitions, for lack of a better word. So you kind of know what's to come, but okay, so if you know that next week, I'm not going to say names, but somebody's going to pass away, or something's going to, some piece of the earth is going to fall into the ocean. Would this? I'm not saying this is what's happening, but example, a big thing like this. How do you tell people? Like you see this, this is going to happen. How would you tell somebody that this is going to happen, and without them going, no?
Well, see, this is the thing. I'm not I'm. If it was something that I was getting about the planet, then I would say yes. I would say, but if it's about someone, unless I know that person. And even then, I would have to know that person pretty well so that they know that, I'm coming up to them and talking to them and saying, hey, look, I got this for you. This is a message for you. Boop, boop, boop. So there you go. But I don't do what I call drive-by readings. And what I mean by that is I don't just come up to somebody on the street and say, hey, your Uncle Paul is trying to talk to you and he wants you to do this and this and this. I think that's rude. But that's me, but that's the shock factor, and that's why some TV shows on psychics are getting, big ratings because of it. I think it's rude. I was brought up in the psychic world not to do stuff like that. I think, however, if it feels like there is something that I'm really getting poked at, I mean, like over and over again, it keeps poking me and telling me, I will go up to, I also take that as a thing of a sign that this person is open to this. So I will then go up to them and say, look, introduce myself and tell them what I'm getting and say, this is what I'm getting, take it or leave it, whatever. I just need to stop getting poked. So here you go. I'm telling it to you, but I'm not going to go up to some random person or at a party and say, oh, your long lost brother is, right behind you, because that's none of my business. If that makes sense.
Okay. Nell in the chat room is going to send you a friend request on Facebook. She'd like to have a conversation with you.
Cool. I would love that.
You can't see it in the chat room, so I told her I'd pass it.
If you want to, there's 2 pages I have. Actually, there's quite a few pages I have on Facebook, but the private page is where I do the weekly animal experience videos. And next week is going to be, this week is going to be on Do Animals Talk, asking the questions, do animals talk to divinity? And if they do, how? Who do they talk to? How do they do it? And why? And what do they get? So it's going to be quite interesting. So if you want to be notified when I go live, yes, please, by all means, friend me. But I also have a business page for being a seer, And that's where I put my weekly cards every week, and I do a live video chat for that as well.
Nell says, okay, I'll hunt you down.
Okay. I don't think you can
Okay.
hunt very far. I'm the only Coryelle, I think, on there.
Yeah, I think you are. I never had anybody else but you pop up when I first searched your name. Okay, I missed it. Here's the question. Quickly, don't nobody type in the chat room, please. From Scott. We had guests on here that believe there will be a meeting of off-world people and ours within the next 2 years. Do you feel that too?
Of off-world people?
Mm-hmm. Like, for lack of a quick, aliens are going to come to Earth and we're going to finally actually, that people are actually going to believe it's true. Instead of some people believing and some people thinking the rest of us are kooks. Right.
Well, the reason I was quiet was I was queuing into it. Okay. I keep getting 3 years. I'm not getting 2, I'm getting 3. So I think, and again, I'm not into politics. I don't do politics. I think it's negative. I think it's discordant. I don't like talking about it. But I think those people were getting stuff before we had the current, at least in America, we had the current administration. I think once the current administration has done what it's supposed to do, because I believe nobody is a mistake. I think there are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. So I think what's going to happen is after the current administration is released, I think then there is going to be this coming together, because there is this churning that's happening now, and there's this turning and there's this momentum that's happening now, and I think things have to happen, and people have to be put into place before that can happen. And I keep getting 3 years around that.
Okay.
Hi guys. I'm sorry.
Cute.
Hello, Katana. Come here.
Sorry, earlier.
I'm pet sitting, so I'm pet sitting for 2 pups. So
they want to be on air too.
I got her one of them in my lap. So her name's Katana, but I don't think she'll be talking. She's very quiet. She's very ladylike.
Of course, she's a lady. Hello.
But
not like the lab that we have.
Right, she is sniffing my microphone, so you might hear some sniffs.
We'll blame it on Brian, no problem.
Hello, Katana. Yes.
Okay, okay, wait a second. This is from Scott. The boil of racism and other isms has to be allowed to come to a head and then last for good.
I think the whole thing of it is that we have to a certain extent, yes, absolutely. And I think what we have to understand is we have to understand and come to the belief that it just doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you have and what you don't have. It doesn't matter what your sex is. It doesn't matter who you love. It just doesn't matter. What matters is what is in your heart. What is in your heart, and can you move out of your own way so that you can then see the divine within that resides within every single person, and get away from the stuff that separates us and get us closer to the things that bring us together.
Very true. But some people are still afraid.
Okay. I get that. They're afraid. They're afraid to open up. They're afraid. But that's what I'm saying is the shift of consciousness is making it so hard for people to stick in their crap. Mm-hmm. You can't keep doing the same thing you were doing 10 years ago. It's not going to work. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk. You can't just talk the talk. You have to, because if not, life is going to become, it's not going to get any better. It's going to become more and more vibrationally uncomfortable for people. And people are going to be, they're either, it's getting to the place where it's like you're either raising up your vibration or you got to go. And when you go, whether that's transitioning by your own hand or someone else's hand, hopefully you come back, you reincarnate, because there is reincarnation, and you get a second chance, and let's raise up your vibration again.
Mm-hmm. I do agree there's reincarnation. And I do agree that people have to learn to stop being afraid, because there's nothing, as people will always say, my unicorns fart butterflies and rainbows, and the only negative that you're going to get is what you allow in. It's out there, but you have to allow, as Nell says, your heart needs to shine.
Absolutely. It's whatever, how you speak about life is how you live it. Your thoughts and the words you use create your life. So if you believe life is a battle and a struggle, you are going to get a battle and a struggle every single day, because the universe always says yes. If you believe life is joy, then you are primarily going to live in joy. You're not going to live in joy all the time, because we're human. We come in, we come out, we come in, we come out, we come in out of our joy, we come out of our joy. We go into our joy, we come out of our joy. It's the way that it is. But, it's primarily you live your life the way you speak it. Yep. So be careful of the words you use, because that's why they call it spelling. You cast a spell with your words. There you go, Katana. So that's my opinion, anyway.
Nell says we're all on a roller coaster. Yeah, I really hate roller coasters in human life. I sure as heck don't want to have to be living one in my life. I won't get on one. But and don't have to actually physically get on one that we. Okay, we're gonna shut up now. I don't like. I'm pretty much an open book. If you know me, if you get to know me, what you see is what you get. I have my downtimes. I don't show that on Facebook. I don't show that to the majority of the world. But, the happy people, the happy faces that people see are like, no, that's me. Yes, I can be cranky and evil, and quite a few of the boys in here are going, oh, really? But you have to be able to. I have a friend, and he says you have to see the good. And yeah, you have to see the good, because there is good, no matter how dark things can get. There's something good in there. So yeah, absolutely. Shine like a diamond. You can't have one. Oh God, songs in my head. That's not a good thing. Okay. Psychic communications and animal communications, we sort of kind of covered. Star lineage, spirit guide discoveries.
Yeah, I love those. They're a lot of fun. They're always a lot of fun. So a spirit guide discovery reading is when I open the door to your guides and I invite them in and I ask them to show themselves, and then I kind of like interview them. So it's a lot of me talking to your guides, not so much talking to you. You just have to sit for a while and just let me process all this, because what happens is that I like to interview them all at the same time, or one at a time, and not tell you what's going on, because when I start talking to you about what's going on, a lot of times my logical mind comes in, and then I have to readjust, and I have to get requiet again, and then I have to reconnect. So I just download all the information as much as I possibly can. So I interview them. I ask them who they are, what do they represent for you, where and how to best utilize them in your life, how's the best way to connect to them. I find out, every single thing that I can possibly find out from them. And then it's very trippy. Some days it can be extremely trippy, because my mind on a normal day is like a Warner Brothers cartoon. But when I add in the spirit guides, it becomes like almost like a, Where's Roger Rabbit kind of like cartoon, where it can just become really crazy and whacked out. But it's a lot of fun. And no matter how wild the spirit guide is, whether it's an animal, whether it's a person, whether it's a goddess or a god, a pixie or a fairy or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, or an ethereal being, a unicorn, Pegasi, and all that other kind of stuff. Whatever it is, no matter how crazy it is, it always makes sense to the person. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. I love them. They're a lot of fun. They really are a lot of fun.
Okay. Now, if somebody says, okay, I already know who my spirit guide is, or guides, because I believe that we have more than one, and we have a gatekeeper. I'm learning. We have a gatekeeper, and then we got a whole, I have what I call my dream team. Some people call them their choir, and everybody has a name for their family. So if somebody says, okay, I want to get to know my spirit guides, I think I know I have one. Would you say, okay, that's it, don't tell me what you think, and let's see what I get, and if the two match up?
Yeah, we could do that. I like going in as cold as possible in a reading. So no matter if it's a animal communication or it's a seer reading or whatever, what I do is I don't want to know all the details. I think it's more fun that way. And number one, it's more fun. But number two, it's a great way for you guys or the person who I'm doing the reading for. It's a great way for you to know that I'm getting what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And it's all the readings that I do, no matter what it is, can all be very emotional. They can all be very, very healing, and they can all be very moving. And so I tell people I love my job because I get to make people cry. And when I make people cry, I know that they're connected. I mean, super connected. That I've touched, when I make somebody cry, I know that I am touching them metaphysically on a very, very deep soul level. And it's resonating with them very deeply. So they're all a lot of fun to do. I love all the readings that I do.
Holy cow. Scott just wrote, I think the whole time that you were talking, Scott was writing a question. It says,
Okay.
I have been, oh Lordy, he's been stalking. I have been doing some stalking. In my world and online visits recently, I have noticed and met a lot of teachers from the First Nation Native community, both from those that have heritage in their ancestors and full Native descent. Stop typing. Yeah. Also, a lot of teachings, a lot of Native teachings. The next person, stop, kick your butts. A lot of Native teachings and sayings and speakers, as well as television programs, have always rooted for the natives in the movies and read the stories about them. They are very spiritual people, and now they are coming back. The oil pipeline thing has also helped that. Now the tribes are coming back together. Do you think they are here to help raise the spirituality? Is that their job?
Okay, that was a lot of information.
Okay. Basically, Scott's saying because the Native community is coming back to the forefront with the pipeline and everything else, a lot of people, they weren't in the forefront. They were just sort of, quietly in the back. But because they're coming more to the forefront for different reasons on TV shows and with the pipeline, and the Native community is coming more to the forefront, do you think it's because that's their job to help raise spirituality? Is that why it's good, bad, or otherwise that they're coming more forward in our lives, in the world?
I think that it has something to do with that. Absolutely. I think it just has to do with a lot of nations, not just us. I'm part Native American, so not just us natives, but I think a lot of cultures are being called to the forefront. There are more people who are tapping into their Druid heritage and their Celtic heritage. There are more people who are connecting into their African heritage. There are more people who are connecting into their spirituality of their Asian heritage. I think that there's a lot of heritages that are being called, and I think the reason is that, again, we're searching, we're looking, we want to connect to something bigger than ourselves. We want to connect to that divine part of us within and connect to the divine that's outside of us. So I think that that's all coming to grips, and it's all coming together where, it's just anything that's going to get you there is going to get you there.
Yeah.
Just any bus will get you there, just as long as it's the bus that resonates with you.
True. But I understand what Scott's saying, because he said thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Because, and it sort of goes with what you're saying, is that no matter what, we eventually will find our way to the end of the path, no matter which bus, which other route, which other street, whatever path that we take. And we're opening ourselves up to different different things. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we leave our minds open, then you'll see different things. Example, in the past, in 2016, 2016 mostly, a lot of my mother's family passed away. Her sister, her brother, and my mother herself. And when I went to the funeral of my uncle, my aunt had said that somebody had once done a family tree for us. And I said, I would really, like to see it. And it just never happened that she would come up to where where we lived, because we don't live close. And then when my mother passed away, she came up and she brought me the book. The sucker weighs a ton. I could hurt people with this, but I quickly looked through it, and I haven't had a chance, because it's like, I'll say a good 3 inches thick. I have Indian heritage. And I mean, hello, I look at myself in the mirror and I see this pale white skin with blue eyes and red hair. Where's the Indian heritage in that? Things that I connect to emotionally. Yeah, there's that, but I never thought that way. But to find out that, my little French family was getting frisky back in the day. So I have a connection to heritage. So it's something that makes me kind of go, it's something I want to look into. Where does it connect with who I am now and where I think path is going? It makes me want to do the search. So I think that in many respects, a lot of us are opening or allowing the doors to open, and then something sneaks in. That book snuck in and kind of went, "Hello, Darlene, look at this." It's like, okay,
right.
So it's I think that's interesting that stuff is coming together.
It is, but it and that's the thing is that everything is coming together. And even though it looks like, it looks to some people like a hot mess, there are no mistakes. I used to always be so upset. The day that I stopped watching the news 17 years ago was the best day of my life. I mean, it really was. Because it's like, people want to, they want to worry and they want to be concerned, but I think the majority of people want peace. And I think they want peace within, and I think they want peace outside of themselves. And I think even though it looks like it's a hot mess right now, I don't think that there's any mistakes. The divine doesn't make garbage. The divine doesn't make mistakes. And, we just have to trust there are no coincidences. So, this is all bringing us, what this is doing, this stuff that we don't like, it is absolutely putting into focus what we do want in this life, what we do want in this world. And we can't know what we want if we don't know what we don't want. It's like the don't wanting stuff is the way that we find out what it is that we do want. And it is incredibly powerful. And I think now what's happening is there's this collective turning of manifestation to get us to the next level. I think all this of what we don't want is our fuel for getting us to where we are supposed to go. I trust in that because I used to believe in the opposite. I used to believe that this world is a hot mess and and nature is getting torn apart and the animals are getting torn apart and people are killing themselves and there's nothing but pain and misery in this world. I used to believe that. I used to believe it. I don't believe it anymore. And because what that got me was that got me alcoholism and it got me drug abuse. Okay, so I'm kind of like not going down that road no more.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes people will use that to try and close things down, but I think in some respects it doesn't really close you down. It just sort of like leaves openings in different areas, so you get a little bit crazier in different respects. Nell in a chat room, now I'm not 100% sure on this one, she says, what do you know about the one race that is falling apart and will not survive when all things are done? And I asked her what race, the human race? And she says, one of the human race. Because I'm really not sure. So what do you know about the one race that is falling apart and will not survive when all things are done? So
I think that there's going to be, do I know everything about it? No, but this is what I'm getting intuitively. I think that the one race that we're talking about is probably the human race. And I think we are changing. We are changing. We are evolving. We are moving. The children that are born now for the last few years have different DNA. It's been proven. They're indigo children, their DNA, they're star seeds, they're born knowing how to work computers. And that's not it. How to work a computer is not in your DNA, okay? But evidently, these kids are downloading this information somehow, some way, and it's a part of them. So I think all of us as well, those of us who are star seeds, I am not the same person that I was even before this radio show. I've changed. We are constantly changing. That is the matter of, that is the backbone of humanity is change. And you either have to embrace it or you're going to be in a lot of pain. So I think that we are changing. This one race, is us, and we are constantly changing. And those who don't want to change and stick their feet, their heels in the ground and drag their feet, it's going to get more and more uncomfortable. It's going to get more and more painful, and eventually they're the minority. Okay, the majority of people, I believe, are embracing the change that is happening within them. And I think it's a great question, and I think we are going to eventually not be even close to the same people we were, because the star seeds are being activated, the indigo children are being activated. I think the people who are spiritual of heart are being activated, those who are people who are also embracing the ethereal and believe that they're part ethereal, they're being activated. So I think all this stuff is being called, and we are changing. I'm excited for it. I think it's great. I think there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with, even with the endangered species. There are some animals that will never be on this planet again. And is that sad? Of course it's sad. But I also like to think of it as saying, something, if they were meant to be here, they would have been here. And, maybe it was just they were there to bring that magic to the planet at that particular time. And the magic wasn't needed, or the magic needed to evolve into something else, as opposed to the Tasmanian devil, which is extinct now. But now they're saying that they found a new Tasmanian devil. So something, it's like, You can never just say this is wrong. This is wrong, because you always have to say to yourself, okay, but it's happening for a reason.
Scott in the chat room just wrote, and the loss helps awaken people.
Yeah.
So the loss of Tasmanian devil made a lot of people wake up and think. The loss of different species that are going, or the endangered species, is awakening people to, hello, if we don't do something about, destroying these animals and these ecosystems, that it will disappear and that will affect us. So that's why there are people who do bees and GMOs is a current example. Yeah,
Right.
the honeybees.
That's a great topic actually for the animal experience. So thank you, Scott. Extinct animals. What are their, connecting to the extinct animals and getting their viewpoint on the whole thing. But yes, pain is the touchstone to spiritual awakening. And there is times that we don't move until we are so darn uncomfortable, we have no other choice. So, is it wrong? No. Should I have moved sooner? Should I have evolved sooner? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Don't shit on yourself. Who cares? It's happening when it happens, as long as it happens, So.
Says you're welcome for the idea for the animal experience. Message him, would you do that one? In the chat room going, I said that one. my Scotch, and he wears a kilt, and if he misbehaves, I message his wife, and she sucks him with a fly swatter, so I'm okay. Wow. And he just stuck his tongue out at me. I think one of the things that Nat had mentioned when she says, do you think that the race is falling and it will not survive, is, and in respect, I think she was talking about a color of race. I think the extinction of the white race, if it as certain people would call it, that the white race is going to come to an end, because there is no such thing as the. We are all, nobody's really white. We're different shades. So I don't think that there's a color. I mean, okay, my husband and I have 3 children. It's the same wife, the same mother, the same father, and each one of my children is a different shade. Because I'm I'm ghosty white, and he's like nice coffee, and but each one of my children is a different shade, different color eyes, different hair. So there's not going to be one. We interact, we intermingle. There's different races connecting, and I don't see animals doing that, because I can't. But then there's a horse and a zebra, or an ass and a zebra, but so you never know.
I totally and completely agree, but I think it's already happening. Look, nobody's 100% anything. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people who are there are, they say, I'm Native American and that's all, but something, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
You don't know. The human race has been on the planet for how many thousands of years? So somebody in your lineage somewhere screwed somebody, so something at one time, so something might, you might have like 1/4 or 2% like Viking. You don't, I think as a person who is multiracial, my mother was white, my father was African American, he was Native American. I think that it is something that is a beautiful thing, but I think it's nothing to panic about, because everybody's got mix. There is nobody who's pure, unless you go into maybe the Eskimos, but even then you got to say, if you go back, eventually somebody's doing somebody who maybe they shouldn't have been doing. But what I'm saying is,
close my eyes right there.
But it's already happening, so stop panicking about it. Stop worrying about it. Who cares? Mm-hmm. It's already happened. There is no white. There is no.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. So, it's already happened. So, oops. All right. So, that whole thing about the white race and the whole thing like that there is like, doing DNA tests, take a swab. Okay.
Yeah.
I guarantee somewhere you got something in you that, is not white.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Nell says she's a Heinz 50. I like that ketchup. I'm sorry to say. I really like. That's why I like you. But and the thing is, there's so many DNA tests out there now that even
Right.
then I had a friend who from his family heritage, yada yada. He believed that he was of Portuguese descent, and 100, the grandmother and grandfather were of Portuguese descent, and yada yada. They came from Portugal, yada. And he did I think it was the Ancestry.com DNA testing, and he found he was only, I think it was 43% Portuguese, and then there was a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of other things. And he was like, wow, he said, we never really realized that, the different connections. I said, yeah, but the majority of it, it's maybe just 43%, but the majority of it, you're still Portuguese, so you're still, but it also gives you the idea that look into the different ethnicities that you're part of, and, the only thing he wasn't part was African Americans. I said, see, you're missing something. I like messing with people. Okay, Scott in the chat room says, LOL, me too. Scots for the last few generations, but there have been many Spaniards from the Armada hundreds of years ago that crashed on the local beaches. LOL, probably in Irish and English too. Oh, you've got English in you. Oh, Lord, no forgiveness. Sorry. I called him English the other day, and only because he was English speaking, and he's holding it against me. He keeps saying, we're not all the same. I know you're not all the same. Yeah, you're deluded, all right. Diluted. Not deluded. Okay. Got another face made at me. But yeah, so he's diluted and diluted and diluted and forget it. You know what I mean. Okay. Now you were saying that we only got about a half an hour left-ish. Sorry, Scott made a comment about my new teeth because I'm losing words. You were saying that you are possibly 98% sure that you're going to be doing your animal experiences on a radio show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Will you just be doing because I've never been able to fully watch one of the animal experience lives completely. I always end up getting pulled away. So there's a method to that madness. I'm not sure what it is yet, but will you be doing readings and stuff like that on the show, or just sharing your views of things? And like, for example, if somebody calls up, so I'd like to know, am I going to get married next week? Oh God, I hate that question.
Well,
am I going to get married and find my true love, or?
No, I'm kidding. Yes.
Okay, I'll tell my husband that now.
That's one of the things we're actually trying to work out right now. I'm trying to work out, is that possible? Can I do that? Is there person interaction, so to speak, or am I just going to be, talking for 45 minutes to an hour?
It all depends on the radio station that you're going to, which we can talk later. Like I said, I have connections in high places that, if that's something that you want to do, and we can work it out.
Oh, okay, fantastic. But yeah. I'm excited about it. And something, you might want to download the podcast. That way you can listen to them whenever you want.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
Learn something new.
They're now on iTunes and Google Play.
Okay, I'll go to Google Play. Don't know iTunes. Bye, Nellikins. I think you're leaving. But Nell says you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. We have a question in the chat room, Mr. Stevenson, once again. Has been doing animal communication made you a vegan, or do you still like your bacon sandwiches?
I did episode 4 of the animal experience was on sustenance, nourishment, and prey animals. What was their viewpoint on it? And when I asked the animals the question, I was, at the time, I was a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. There's no way I could be a vegan. Sorry. But not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just
Not that I understand the difference, but somebody else explain it to me. Right?
Yeah, it's very strict. It's more strict than vegetarianism. So at the time, I was a vegetarian, and I asked cows, I was asking pigs, I was asking goats, I was asking all the sustenance animals how they felt about it. And I thought, I went in expecting one answer, and I got something totally different. So to answer your question, it's a fascinating episode, so you might want to listen to it. And to answer your question, no, I am not a vegetarian anymore. I do like my bacon. I do like my meat. And I think what is important is, and this is what I learned from the animals, it's the fact that you appreciate what you have been given. So everything, excuse me, one second, I might cough. Everything that I drink, everything that I eat, I bless and I thank.
Sometimes we forget those things, yeah.
We do, and what it does is that it nullifies what happens before, because you're appreciating their sacrifice, and it brings their sacrifice and their life and what happened to them meaning.
Okay, so it makes sense. That's something that a lot of people, and I myself included, up until a few years ago, that people don't. You pray before you eat a meal, and it's not, for me. It wasn't because you're just thanking God, but you're also thanking the animals for giving you the sustenance, the earth for giving you the vegetables, and so people don't realize that it's not. Prayer is not. It's not the dirty word that people use it as. It's a conversation with your higher power, whether it be God, Buddha, Allah, fishy, turtle, whatever. You have to be it's like, I know the natives. I have a native friend that whenever I would have questions for him, he would say, "Okay." He says, "You have questions. You know what you have to do. You have to go and give an offering of tobacco to the spirits, so that we can work this together." And because it's no exchange of money, it's that's his way. So it's sort of thanking the thanking the universe, every part of it, for allowing him the knowledge to share with me. And thanking them for for me to be able to suck it into his brain that sometimes doesn't hold things for long, So yeah, I get that. And vegans don't wear or use animal products. God, they only wear polyester.
No, it's just food-wise. It's a little bit. I mean, I love my eggs, so. But again, it's different strokes for different folks. I'm not saying that being a vegan is wrong. I'm not saying that being a vegetarian is wrong. I'm not saying that being a meat eater is wrong. What I'm saying is it's what resonates for you, what feels right to you. I know for me, my body needed the protein. It needed that protein. And if I go without it, I have a lot, I don't have the energy like I used to have, and I didn't have the drive like I used to have, or like I did when I do it. I don't have the drive that I have now, and I don't have the energy I have now, and I need a lot of energy. My life is busy.
Yeah. Okay. Night, Sharon. Keeping out. Another one from Scott. As an animal lover. As an animal lover and know they are beings with a soul, I hide away from the aspect of knowledge and have been compartmentalizing my meat eating. It comes in wrappers from a supermarket. I'm not exactly sure how to take that. It's a statement. No. It's a statement. It's not a question because he didn't put QQ in front of it. But it's okay. Just don't think you're eating your Uncle Bob the pig, okay? And you'll be okay. Then you won't be, cannibal sort of thing. But yeah, I can see that some people would have a hard time with that. But then I somehow doubt you're going to turn to a vegetarian or a veganism, Scott. You're just like, yeah, the Akita would be like very happy because then she'd get all the meat products. It's like, yes. Scott has two huge Akitas, and absolute adorable. The younger one is like, it's a she, and she's making his life hell because she's a she.
Akitas are very interesting. They're very strong-willed, and they know what they want. They want what they want. They're very, I would call them almost like id. And what I mean by that is I want what I want when I want it, and there's no convincing me otherwise. It doesn't mean that they can't be trained. It just means that Akitas are very strong-willed, very, as opposed to, other, the different breeds have different personality traits, just like people do.
Yeah. Scott's going, oh yes, they definitely are. I'll give you the link to Akita's Facebook page. She has a very interesting conversation with letting us know exactly how Scott behaves when he takes her out on a walk.
I'd love to see it.
And he said, I love animals and I know they have souls. So tonight, Coryelle has helped resolve that mental jingliness and saying thank you to make sense of it all. So
absolutely,
kind of feel that.
The episode 5 is on soul plans and life plans. Very, very interesting episode that I did. It described what a soul plan is as opposed to a life plan, and how that works into your relationship or our relationships with our animals. So it's an extremely interesting episode that will be very, very eye-opening for, I think, a lot of people. And so you can find that on my personal page. I'm also going to make a Facebook page specifically for the animal experience because it's kind of hard for people to find the videos, and I want them to be able to just say, okay, just go to this Facebook page and you can see all the videos. And because right now we're up to episode 12. This Thursday is going to be episode 13.
Yes, and it's at what time of the day is it? Do you do your?
It is Thursdays, 1 p.m. Well, actually 12 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so that'll be 8 o'clock for you, Scott. He's over in the UK. So there's a 5-hour difference.
Yeah.
So he's staying up late tonight because right now it's 1 a.m. in the morning.
Wow, yeah, really. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that.
And Brian pretty much just woke up because in Australia it's Monday morning already. It's Wednesday.
It's Monday morning. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, Brian's in our future. Scary thought, but he's our future. But I know. Trust me, I know. Okay, so you're going up to level midday tomorrow. Okay, so you're going to level episode 13. I'm going to try and find. I found your page. Now, if I can just find, not Pinterest, not good to do. Of course, I don't find everything when I'm preparing for this talk. Scott, Darlene, can you put the links up to the personal page, Animal Talks, on Facebook, even if you yes, I will, dear. I will find them. And I can see
what I'll also do is I'll send you all the links to because I just made the Facebook Animal Experience business page today, and I just finished promoting all of the episodes, so they're all up there, and I will send you a link to all my pages when we're done.
Perfect. Okay, and I will send it on to you. Actually, what I'll do is I will put it as well in the event to today's show, so it will be there. All the links will be there.
Great.
And we'll make sure that everybody gets it. And I will personally deliver it. Just I'll go all the way over to the UK and give it to him and smack him at the same time.
Lord.
Hey, Scott, Brian, don't say that about Scott. He's only afraid I'm going to have his wife smack him. Oh, gosh. Okay. So I'm lost. I think I've done all my questions. And Scott, have you got any more questions? And Linda has been very quiet, listening. And Brian, any questions?
Hey, stop.
Puppy wants to be on air.
Yeah.
See, this is why it's fun when next time we'll figure out how to get you on camera. No, of course, I don't know why Macs don't allow it, but I'll talk to Jenny. Maybe there'll be some special thing that we can hook up. We can get you on camera because you could have puppies on camera.
Well, they're not my puppies. I'm pet sitting, but that's another thing that I do. People are crazy about me pet sitting their animals because they have the animal-communicator watching their animals. So what more could you want?
Onyx, would you like Coryelle to babysit you? It's like, okay, if she gives me food, I'll tell anybody to babysit with me. She knows when they need something. Very true. And she knows when the owners have been misbehaving and not listening properly to their pets.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay, do you have anything aside from episode 13 coming up? Do you have anything else you want to let people know about coming up? Any shows that you're going to be doing? And as soon as the radio show is hooked up, you'll let me know. And if that doesn't work out, you'll let me know and I'll hook you up.
I will. I also, just so that you know, on my business page, I do weekly card readings. I pull a card for everybody. I interpret the card. I read from the book, and then I give my own interpretation, and I give you a blessing for your week or a prayer for your week. So that's on Sundays, again, also at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can check that out as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of things over the next few weeks, but primarily what it is going to be is it's going to be a lot of traveling all over the place. Hello. Stop. Crazy dogs. Okay. Zoomies in the house. Yay. So I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be doing psychic fairs and things like that all over the country. So I'm excited about that. But the main thing that I'm going to be doing is I think the animal experience is going to be growing more and more and more and more. And I'm setting the intention that it's going to have its own TV show one day. So
There you go. We'll start on the radio. In the chat room is a young woman, I'm saying young woman, named Linda. And she says she's enjoying the session. She's a friend of yours. Scott said, ooh, a spy. And she smiled. Got spies. I like spies. It's fun to have spies. I don't know about trolls, never had one. But spies, I love those. See, Scott spies around everywhere else. Oh, he's a stalker. Hang on, get that. Facebook stalker, yippee, in the good sense, not in the naughty sense. Okay, so I put up the link to your Coryelle Kramer Metaphysical Expert. That would be your business page. And I don't know if I can find... Scott says trolls don't come visit him because his dragons would eat them. Yeah, they'd probably be let in by the back door by that naughty little leprechaun of yours.
That's great.
Well, I think we will cut it down now. And everybody, when Coryelle sends me the links, I will put them into the event of the show. And anybody wants, just message me on Facebook, and I will share them to anybody who's interested, which is probably going to be Scott, Brian, and since Linda already knows you, she has all those connections in the right places. And I thank you very much for being on the show, and I hope that we do this again soon.
Absolutely.
And I'll figure out how we can get you to come on camera. There might be another browser that you can use. I'll speak to the Wizard of Intuitalks. The woman who created this lovely place that we're at did this all by herself, and she's amazing as far as I'm concerned. She's still working on it. Everything's still a work in progress. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Please, we need some party guests on our show, Darlene. On your show. Yes. I'm party enough? Okay, fine. We'll see. I think I'll have a little talk with Helen and the fly swatter. Yep. But so thank you very much for coming on this show, and we shall talk very, very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everybody for your awesome questions, and I had a great time.
I'm glad. All right, everybody, have a good night, and I will see you next week when I have no idea who's going to be on, but somebody will be here, if not just me. Night, everybody.
Night.